Coming up on this Monday edition of Daybreak, after more than 5 months of suspension, South Korean firms at the Inter-Korean Kaesong Industrial Complex resume their operations today. But it could take months, even years, for businesses to fully return to their normal state. President Park Geun-hye and the leaders of the ruling and opposition parties will meet today in a bid to break the ongoing political impasse. The spy agency's alleged meddling in last year's presidential election and the Prosecutor General's resignation last week are expected to complicate discussions. Plus, an official from Japan's fisheries agency will arrive in Seoul today to urge the Korean government to lift its import ban on Japanese fisheries products in response to radiation concerns. Daybreak begins now.
You're watching Daybreak on Monday, September 16th, and I'm Choi Yusan here in Seoul. In line with the recent improvement in inter-Korean relations, South Korean firms with factories at the Inter-Korean Kaesong Industrial Complex will resume operations today. The companies, however, face several hurdles to get their businesses back on track. Our Kim Hyun-bin has more.
165 days. That's how long the Kaesong Industrial Complex has been sitting idle. But Monday marks a new start for the two Koreas as over 800 South Korean industrial workers are heading back to Kaesong to reboot their machines and get back to work.
Starting September 16th, South Korean workers will be allowed to stay in Kaesong. After a test launch, the firms can start their operations.
Around 60% of the 123 South Korean firms at Kaesong are expected to get back to work from Monday. But the road to normal operations looks like it'll be a rocky one.
Since the factory park has been closed for over 5 months, the firms are lacking orders from buyers. It'll probably take more than a year to reach normalization.
To minimize losses, South Korean firms in Kaesong need to attract old and new buyers in order to operate at full capacity. Meanwhile, the Export-Import Bank of Korea is pressuring firms to return money they've taken from the Inter-Korean Economic Cooperation Insurance Fund, which is set up to help the companies take over during the shutdown. 46 firms took roughly $140 million from the fund, but paying it back could be difficult, especially considering they haven't made any sales for over 5 months. In response to concerns, the Kaesong Emergency Committee will ask the government to extend the payback date, currently set for October 15th. Kim Hyun-bin, Arirang News.
South Korea's defense chief says North Korea is likely plotting a next generation of warfare against the South. In a meeting with reserve officers on Sunday, Defense Minister Kim Kwan-jin said Pyongyang, together with pro-North Korea groups in the South, is thought to be coming up with a so-called fourth-generation warfare to cause chaos in South Korean society. Kim said it could come in the form of a cyber attack, media warfare, or a terror attack. The minister then said the South Korean and the U.S. military included training to counter such provocations during their joint Ulchi Freedom Guardian exercises last month. President Park Geun-hye will sit down for talks with the leaders of the ruling and opposition parties today in a bid to break the ongoing political impasse. The Prosecutor General's resignation over a personal scandal last week, however, had left a three-way meeting up in the air over the weekend. Our Park Ji-won tells us more.
The main opposition Democratic Party has a very clear idea about what should be the main agenda during Monday's talks. DP leader Kim Han-gil emphasized on Sunday that the nation's spy agency's alleged meddling in last year's presidential election should be the front and center of talks with President Park and the ruling Saenuri Party. The opposition party has been staging a street protest campaign for more than a month and a half, demanding direct talks with the president over the issue. Kim also stressed the presidential office should also clear up doubts over Prosecutor General Chae Dong-uk's sudden resignation last Friday. The opposition party accuses the Blue House of pulling strings to take him down, as it was not happy with Che's handling of recent political issues.
The Democratic Party will never turn a blind eye to the authorities' attempts to tame the nation's prosecutors. I will reveal the truth and let those in charge take responsibility.
In response, the presidential office, which has yet to accept the resignation, and the Saenuri party said there's no predetermined agenda for the talks, so the issue could be discussed over at the three-way talks. However, they made clear they'd like to focus on issues related to the livelihoods of citizens rather than political issues. The ruling party also brushed aside claims the presidential office played a part in Prosecutor General Che's decision to step down.
The Prosecutor General's resignation was spurred by a personal issue. It's not appropriate to turn the issue into a political talking point.
The offer for the three-way talks was made by President Park last Thursday to address the deadlock in parliament that stemmed from the National Intelligence Service's alleged attempt to swing public opinion in favor of the ruling party in the run-up to the presidential election in December. Park Ji-won, Arirang News.
A senior official from Japan will visit Korea today to demand that Seoul lift its import ban on fisheries products from Japan. Tokyo reportedly plans to take the case to the World Trade Organization if Seoul does not give an acceptable explanation for its move. Our Kim Min-ji has the details.
The Korean government last week slapped an import ban on all fisheries products from Japan's radiation-hit Fukushima and 7 other nearby prefectures, regardless of whether they are contaminated or not. The Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries said it acted out of mounting concerns about radiation levels in seafood from the area. Genji Kagawa, an official from Japan's Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries, will visit Seoul on Monday to meet with his counterparts and demand an explanation for Korea's move. The Japanese official will also likely demand Korea to lift its import ban. Earlier this month, Japan's chief cabinet secretary said all fishery products have been under close inspection to meet international safety requirements after the nuclear disaster.
After the nuclear crisis, all products have been subject to intense checkups to meet international safety standards.
The Korean government, however, will likely reiterate its stance that the ban was necessary, as there are escalating concerns about whether fish from Japan is safe to consume.
We enforce the ban as information, and data from the Japanese government is not enough to determine the exact situation after the nuclear accident.
If Korea decides to leave the import ban as it is, reports have said that Japan will likely file a legal suit against Korea with the WTO. Meanwhile, a recent survey conducted by Kyodo News shows over 60% of Japanese citizens discredit the Abe administration's claim that the leak of radioactive water will create no problems. The visit of the Japanese official will come just hours after Japan shuts down its last operating nuclear reactor in western Japan. Kim Min-ji, Arirang News.
If you want the latest news from Korea and around the world.
Return to the negotiations. President Park Geun-hye plans, given the current circumstances.
On your way to work or at home.
Defense Ministry. The legislature will convene a.
Tune into Daybreak on Arirang TV.
Prime Minister Shinzo Abe said Tuesday. The government is asking all of its ministries and agencies to cut spending amid concerns about a huge tax revenue shortfall. At a recent meeting with budget-related officials, the Finance Ministry asked the agencies and ministries to submit their spending cut plans by today, Monday, that is. They have been told to start cutting expenditure for projects with least priority, but the government plans to keep spending into job creation, spurring investment, and export promotion. This year's tax revenue could be down by up to 8 trillion won, or about $7.4 billion from earlier projections because of the sluggish economic recovery. Some positive news from the country's trade front. Korea posted a trade surplus for the 19th straight month in August. The Korea Customs Service revealed Sunday that the nation logged a surplus of $4.8 billion, thanks largely to strong exports of automobiles, ships, and semiconductors. Korea posted outbound shipments worth some $46.3 billion last month, up 7.7% from the same period last year. Imports amounted to $41.5 billion, a 1% increase from last August. The Korea Intellectual Property has begun its largest restructuring in the agency's history. The aim is to streamline the patent and trademarking process to give Korean companies an edge in the global market while cracking down on counterfeit goods. Our Paul Lee shows us how local firms are responding to the new changes.
Even though KT is one of Korea's leading telecommunications companies, its iconic brand had been denied a trademark registration due to a lack of letters in its name. However, the Korea Intellectual Property Office says its revamped screening process will no longer hold back local firms.
KT and other short English names will have easier screening standards. This will be extremely helpful to companies with respect to brand development and management.
Other big brands such as GS and NH Card have only recently received trademark approval after years of jumping through hoops. KIPO officials say they've now cut through the red tape and improved their customer service.
Since Korean IP office examiners are able to use their power to correct and quickly resolve issues, it seems to have greatly reduced the burden in terms of time and cost.
Protection of intellectual property rights is crucial to a fair competitive market and to prevent the spread of counterfeit products.
The quality of one's product is indirectly represented through its brand. That's why I think it's a good decision to have a screening policy that permits a broad trademark registration process.
It's all part of a massive reorganization at the nation's leading patent office that's focused on providing easier and faster access. The typical trademark and design patent review periods have been reduced by 3 and 5 months, respectively. The KIPO also plans to submit a comprehensive bill to the National Assembly next year to further streamline Korea's patent system.
We will prohibit counterfeit products of creative brands and designs. We will also strengthen our screening evaluations in order to give Korean companies a competitive edge in the global marketing field.
The KIPO says it's doing its part to realize the government's vision of a creative economy by paving the way for local companies to embrace emerging trends and innovative technologies. Paul Yi, Arirang News.
To the latest on the Syria crisis, the Syrian government has declared victory for its country over the chemical weapons deal struck over the weekend. The Syrian reconciliation minister told a Russian news network that the deal helped the country avert U.S. military action, and he thanked Moscow's diplomacy for brokering it. The U.S. and Russia agreed over the weekend to eliminate all of Syria's chemical weapon stockpiles. Under the deal, Syria has a week to declare what it has, and by November, inspectors will arrive in the country to destroy or remove the weapons. China has welcomed the deal, but U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry reiterated that the threat of force is still on the table if Syria does not hand over its weapons. A UN report on the use of chemical weapons in Syria's civil war is set to be released this Monday. U.S. President Barack Obama has called on Iran to take heed of the deal reached over Syria's chemical weapons. Speaking to U.S. network ABC on Sunday, President Obama said Tehran's nuclear program was a much bigger issue for Washington than chemical weapons. He stressed that although the U.S. has not resorted to force against Syria, its credible threat of force looked like to have led to the deal. Obama also confirmed he has exchanged letters with new Iranian President Hassan Rouhani. Analysts say Rouhani appears to be taking less of a hardline stance on Iran's nuclear program than his predecessor, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. The cooling fall weather has been putting Koreans at ease following one of the hottest summers on record. Families are taking the transition of the seasons to head out across the country to enjoy its most beautiful tourist spots. Our Na Young-kyung gives us a snapshot of the spectacular views.
The bright blue sky and rolling green hills paint the perfect picture for a getaway vacation here on Jeju Island near Seongsan Mountain's Ilchulbong or Sunrise Peak. Down below, speedboats splash amongst the waves along Korea's southern coast.
Since it's sunny and the weather is so nice, it's been so refreshing coming here to Mount Seongsan. The wind feels great and our whole family feels really happy.
It's just one of the many destinations that shows off the country's incredible natural beauty. Here on the steps of Mount Taedok, hikers are enjoying the fresh air and cool autumn breezes.
It's always hard going up, but you actually feel the best on the way up. From now, it's the perfect type of weather to go hiking.
Back on the mainland in South Jeolla Province, residents have been hitting the local traditional markets in search of the best deals ahead of the Chuseok festivities. It's a mouth-watering view with stalls filled to the brim with fresh fruits and vegetables.
The shiitake mushrooms look good. I bought and ate some beef from here before, and I can tell you that this place is delicious.
Precious moments like these come only once a year, and Koreans will continue to embrace their adventurous sides as long as the weather holds up. Na Hyun-kyung, Arirang News.
And a good Monday morning to you all as we kick off the new week with history being made over the weekend. Spread with the Asian Club Weightlifting Championships currently taking place in Pyongyang. The South Korean national anthem was heard for the first time as two South Korean weightlifters finished first and second. Now granted, Kim Woo-sik and Kim Lee-young-gyun were the only ones competing at the 85-kilogram category. The two 19-year-olds faced off in the finals with Kim taking the gold medal in the competition as Lee finished obviously with the silver medal. As the two South Koreans stood up on the podium, the South Korean national anthem was played on the loudspeakers, making it the first time ever that the anthem was played in North Korean ground. Moving on, there could have been another history in the making in sports if Park In-bi won the LPGA Avian Championships or if Lydia Ko won. Now, neither happened, but still an impressive finish for the 19-year-old amateur golfer Lydia Ko. Now, even with Park Se-ri going into the final round tied for the lead, Lydia Ko kept her composure throughout the 3 days of the event, including the 36-hole second round. Now, Ko would finish off the final round shooting a 1 under, good for second place overall, shooting 8 under overall. An impressive finish for the amateur golfer as Suzanne Peterson wins the season's 5th and final major of the season after shooting 10 under overall. Now with that said, moving on to some Sunday night KBO action as things are really heating up in the league. Now after losing 1-0 on Saturday, the NC Dinos came back on Sunday to beat the LG Twins 2-0, with the Nexen Heroes beating the SK Wyverns in a close game as well, 7-6. So with that said, let's take a look at the other two games that took place, starting off with the Tucson Bears taking on the Lotte Giants. Now a scoreless game until the 4th inning of the game when Kim Hyun-soo singles here, an RBI single to center as the Tucson Bears take a 1-0 lead. Next inning, here come the Lotte Giants here. Kang Min-ho with the bases loaded. He's gonna single here just over the reach of Kim Jae-ho, and it's a tie ball game 1-1. Next play, bases loaded once again. Cho Hong-suk takes the walk here, and it's 2-1 Lotte. We're not done yet. Here's Cho Sung-hwan this time. He's going to ground this to second, but an error by Kim Jae-ho scores Kang Min-ho from third as Lotte now takes the lead 3-1. We're going to shift over to the 6th inning here. Here's the former Lotte Giant Lee Won-suk. 2-run single to center field, and we have a tie ball game. 7th inning, more Tucson, this time Min Byung-hun. 2-run double over the leaping try of Sonasap as Tucson now takes the lead 6-3. Bottom of the 9th inning, Lotte really needing a miracle here, and a miracle they get.
Kang Min-ho a 3-run shot to straightaway center field, and we have a tie ball game 6-6. Now both teams going back and forth in this game, but after 12 innings, this game finishes tied 6-6. And next up, the Samsung Lions taking on the Hanwha Eagles first inning. Park Sung-min an RBI single to left field, and it's 1-0 Samsung Lions. Next inning here, Park Sung-min once again another RBI single to left center field as Samsung now take a 2-0 lead. Fast forward to the fifth, not him again. Park Sung-min this time an RBI double to right field, and it's 3-0 Samsung Lions before Kim Tae-won here makes it 4-0 with an RBI single to left field. Now Samsung cruising throughout the night here take a 9-0 lead before Hanwha gets on board thanks to Oh Sun-jin's 2-run double to left center. But no matter though, the Samsung Lions still breeze through in this game 9-2. And moving over to Japan, how about this guy, Vladimir Valentin of the Yakult Swallows in the NPB. Now with 55 home runs this season, he goes up against the Hanshin Tigers on Sunday and drills a 3-run shot in the first inning to break the Japanese record and ties Lee Seung-yup's record for the most home runs in single season in Asia. But he wasn't done yet. Third inning of the game, Valentin comes back and hits a solo shot, his 57th of the season, breaking the Asian record. Now, even with the new record, he still has 17 more games to play to extend his record. All right, moving over to the K-League Classic, where the FA Cup semifinals finished off with two teams heading to the finals. Now on Saturday, the Pohang Steelers beat the Jeju United 4-2 to advance to the finals, with the Jeonbuk Hyundai Motors beating Busan I-Park 3-1 to advance to the finals as well. Now the finals will be between Pohang and Jeonbuk, with the match being played on the 19th of next month at Jeonju. All right, so with that said, finishing things off with the 2013 College Basketball Championships, with Korea University and Kyunghee University tied 1 game apiece going into the decisive Game 3 on Sunday. Now, Kyunghee University with the control of the game as they even took an 18-point lead in third quarter. But that lead was temporary as Korea University goes insane late in the game as they rally back to take this game 74-71, earning the school's first ever championship. And with 19 points and 10 boards in the game, Korea University's freshman center Lee Jong-hyun earns the finals MVP. And with all that said, that's going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. Have a great rest of the day and see you guys again for your sports needs.
Happy Monday morning to you. I'm Lee Ji-hyun with your latest weather forecast. Well, did you enjoy yesterday's pleasant weather conditions? Then you're gonna love today's forecast. We'll look for wall-to-wall sunshine and a tad warmer afternoon highs, even compared to yesterday's. Now, there's absolutely nothing on our satellite map, and it's going to stay like this clear for a day. Now, this wonderful autumn weather carries on Tuesday as well, so if you are a fan of sunshine and warm temperatures, you'll love weather forecast for this week. Afternoon highs will be hovering mid to upper 20s with a fair amount of sunshine, but morning lows will remain below 20 throughout the week. So please remember huge gap in the daily temperature range, which is expected to continue for the time being, and make sure to take good care of yourself to not to catch a cold. With that, it's time to take a look at today's readings. Again, the country will bask in mild and sunny weather all day long today. The capital, Daegu and Busan will all rise to 28 degrees Celsius. That's 82 degrees in Fahrenheit, and Gwangju will be 1 degree higher at 29. Now let's see how other regions are looking. It looks like Jeju and Daejeon will have the same daytime highs, while Dokdo and Mount Kumgang will be topping out at 22 and 20. Now that's all for Korea, and here's the global forecast for viewers around the world. that's all I have for you at this hour. Enjoy your morning commute and have a wonderful Monday. Now back to you, Sun, in the studio.
Thank you, Jiyeon. And those are the stories we have for you at this hour. Thank you for watching.